yes, I'm a physio and fit as a physio. These are some taping techniques I use to prevent and treat injuries.
But yeah, typically MCL, LCL, hyperextensions, sort of patellas we'll do in a sec, are sort of your main ones. So
the most common thing you see is your medial though.
Your medial
footy field.
Medial ligament, valgus force where they're getting pushed here, stretching or tearing through your MCL. So you want to try to protect that ligament. It's quite a long ligament and quite a wide ligament, so you've got to do a pretty big strap to try and protect it. Luckily, Stephen, his knees aren't huge, so we can get away with not doing a massive one. So you want to have their knee in slight flexion. Why? Why wouldn't we do it in extension or more flexion?
Ooh.
Boom.
Boom.
Are you still a student or are you graduate?
No, student.
I love these students. What they're teaching these days. So yeah, MCL's most taught at what degree?
30.
30, I think it's 30, isn't it? That's how I explain it. Some people like to have a bit of tape, just lift your heel up. Put a bit of tape under their heel, that sort of keeps them in a bit of side flexion. Again, most of my guys stand with your knee bent, it's pretty easy. So if it's in the clinic, you can probably get them to stand on a table. If it's pitch side, you probably get them to stand on the ground. Don't get them to stand on a portable table because they'll go through it. But your anchor's the same as your ankle. You want to just make sure you've got an anchor below and above the joint. The ones above, obviously leading into quad bulk, you want to again maybe get a bit of angle so you're not completely going circular and cutting off. The ones around calf, then you can probably do the same. Stephen hasn't got massive calves, so we can get away with that. So for an MCL, I don't worry too much where I start in terms of being proximal or distal. I probably start proximal because it's easier, because then I can sort of move down. You probably want to do 2 to 3 strips overlapping by half each way.
Just those anchors, how high do you go with the anchor, how low do you go with the anchor? I think you can mess it up if the anchors are too close together, whereas they probably can't be too far apart.
Yep. Although I have seen guys that are massive up here and it's probably too big.
I'd prefer that though than too
close.
And
Yeah,
then
true.
Really not.
If it's again a
you
footy,
need a bit of lever, I think.
yeah.
So.
If it's a bit of a footy play and they're a line-out jumper, you probably can go up a little bit higher because then you can overwrap that and that can be their lifting leg as well. So again, depending on what position they're in. So normally I'll do a couple coming, what would we call that, anterior to posterior, and then some, couple going the other way. And it doesn't need to be overly tight, just a bit of tension there.
And again, the positioning, I was saying with the foot and with the ankle, it's your setup position that then when they move the leg gives you the tight tape, not that you're reefing on the tape.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
That wasn't a clear sentence at all. Yep. It's your setup position and you tape loosely, you put them in the position and tape loosely, and then when they move, that's the tape is tight.
You've got 75 over it?
Yes.
Okay. So that might be enough. You might want to then just lock it off, anchor it off, and done. If they're a grade 2 or a grade 3 MCL, I might put a couple of just extra strips just straight down again, just to give them a little bit more of that support and feedback. Anchor. Most of the footy guys though, that'll probably sweat and sort of peel away, so most of the guys I'll wrap that with a bit of overwrap, even if 50's fine.
There's a 50 next to it. I've got your 50 because it's the size of 70.
So again, you can just use this just to wrap. It doesn't need to be too tight, but just follow the contours of the tape. Make sure you're covering your tape. It all looks nice and pretty. Keep wrapping it over until you've sort of covered all your ground. And then you can lock that off and then it all looks pretty nice and professional. Good for TV. Generally that might peel away, so a little strip of rigid just at the end just to hold it all down. If you straighten your knee, if you bend your knee, it might be a little bit tight in flexion, so if you try and bend, you might be limited a little bit, but that's going to loosen up over 5-10 minutes as they warm up.